Hey everyone, a Nerd Named Mark here. That's right, double feature. Yeah, now we're getting a review of Dino Fury, Episode 7, Stego Search. Obviously now I'm finally have time to catch up on everything. So yeah, we're gonna jump right into this. Like I said, no filler, just a couple key points, my opinions, what I liked, what I didn't like, and yeah. So main thing is the Zord Finder is ready. And that's cool because maybe we're finally gonna get. Well, the name of the episode Stego Search. So obviously, Javi gets his Zord finally, possibly. Um, is it me or Javi just in a park playing the guitar? And I was like, the song. I was like, okay, okay, but then instantly I was like, this seems very 80s. Like I think of Beverly Hills Cop or 48 Hours. Like any of those like weird 80 buddy cop movies. I was like, oh, I was just waiting for like dun, 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 dun. And I was like, if he starts playing that, I'm like, all right, I'm sold. Also, $900 for a guitar. That's expensive. And yeah. Um so the main one of the main things is this is a Javi episode, themed episode, obviously, which means we'll have some Izzy in it. But the warden, like Javi's dad, is kind of. So he shows up while Javi's playing the guitar. Everyone's loving it, this and that, and he basically takes the guitar, finds the price 900. That's a lot. I'm gonna get your money back. Javi brings up the fact that he has a job, but Warden says a line like, in the last 30 days, you've tried out the harmonica, the whistle, the violin, and instantly that kind of resonated because growing up, for me, I was the same with music. Like I learned the piano, and then I was like, oh, I want to try the saxophone. And my grandfather had a drum set, so I was like, oh, I'm gonna play the drums, and now I'm gonna learn guitar and bass and sing, and that was all in a span of like mm, a year. So I understand the whole like music thing, just trying different instruments, seeing what like flows with you and what you're feeling. Because listening to an instrument being played, you're like, oh, that sounds cool. I want to learn that. But once you try it, when you start playing it, that's kind of when you just like really figure out if this is something you actually want to play or you just enjoy hearing music from that instrument. Like piano, I got really good at piano, but I prefer listening to piano. Same with guitar. I was really good at guitar. I prefer acoustic guitar in this sense. So I was like, I'd rather just listen. Like it's a lot of work. And I was the same with sports too. Treated sports like instruments. Also, I was like, let me try baseball, basketball, track, soccer, and soccer is the one I stuck with. Like you gotta try a little bit of everything until you know what you really like. I don't know how the whistle's a music instrument. That's the one where he threw out was like the whistle. Like, alrighty then. um, I do enjoy this theme of tummy troubles. So when Amelia was making the face, in last episode 5, they're like, "Oh, did you eat something? Like, do you have to go to the bathroom?" And it's like, "No, that's not the face." And all of a sudden, like, well, heavy sometimes, you know, he gets tummy troubles. And my favorite line was from Ollie, where he's like, "Yeah, Izzy told us about your tummy troubles." He's like, "Better out than in, am I right?" And I'm like, "Oh, Ollie, you always getting the good one-liners." Um, so the monster this week, there's no monster of the week. It's actually Boom Tower, who is powered up by a Sporks. So I was like, cool. Um, one of the coolest things was Javi and Izzy did a nice little combo morph sequence and fight, which was pretty cool. Boom Tower being so powerful is nice because he's kind of been like a useless lackey that's picked up Sporks and that's about it. Um, so I really enjoyed him actually having some powerful ones and being a threat. Um, his new power up and this and that. Uh, Javi uses more keys, more power up keys are shown, which are nice. I wish we would get those as merch here, but we haven't. I don't know what Hasbro's doing. That's another video for another time. But Izzy actually gets injured, and um, Javi takes Izzy and they leave, and then we get a really good like unmorphed fight sequence with Amelia, Zato, and Ollie, which I really enjoyed. It wasn't it wasn't cheesy or campy at all. It was actually a really good choreographed fight, and that's something I'm noticing is the choreography of the fight sequences are really good. Sorry, my watch went off. So yeah, um, So the warden shows up to grab Izzy and Javi, and Javi brings out like the monster attacked them, and then Javi's like, I tried to protect her, and the warden flat out was like, then why is she hurt? But you're fine. You didn't try hard enough. And I was like, wow, like this is we like. I'm sure if Izzy tried different sports, the warden would be all like, yes, all the sports, but something like you can kind of finally see the parental dynamic of how Izzy's treated and how Javi's treated. I don't think this is a one-off just for this episode. I think this is something from a character standpoint. This is something that's going to be touched upon a lot. Um, so uh, Amelia and all everyone else, they see the video from earlier when the warden was yelling at Javi and took the keytar away. Amelia says something about Javi being salty, and then Zato once again trying to learn slang says salty like those chips, and he has brought up that he needs a teen dictionary, and I'm like, okay. Since this is a Javi themed episode, the main thing from Javi is anytime he plays music, that kind of it boosts his ranger powers and it kind of activates his Zord, the signal of his Zord. So he plays his. I guess that's the whistle. It looks like a flute, but or something, but it's a whistle. Um, Actually, it looks like one of those reed things, like the recorders. It looks like that, but metal. So Javi plays music inside the base to activate the signal Zord. They find it. So Javi goes off to find his Zord while Amelia, Ollie, and Zato go to fight Boom Tower because Izzy is injured. So, nice Zord fight. We finally get the Stegazord from Javi. They form everything together to make the what is it called? The Dino Fury Megazord Spike formation. Looks amazing. And one of my favorite things is this fight scene. It had like a sunset, so it was like kind of dark, but you had the light from the glow of the sun. It was the way the shadowing and lighting effects. I was like, it looked so good. This is actually probably my favorite Zord fight so far. And we had a great one-liner from Boomer because he said, "It's my job to destroy the Rangers, and business is booming." I love puns. I love puns so much. I like puns are my favorite. And so they're fighting. We see the spike formation. They do like spike punches, and it's like da 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 da. And then, you know, it looks like Boom Tower's not defeated because he's like, "You think that's enough to stop me?" And then he's like, "Wait, it is." And then boom. So the Boom Tower's getting great dialogue. At the end of it, you know, team chipped in together, get Javi a new guitar. Instantly, I was like, but didn't they need to borrow $15 like 4 episodes ago? So I don't, even though that was a joke one liner, but it was nice. And then Javi plays again, and everyone starts dancing around, and that's how the episode ends. Izzy was in a sling, and I'm curious to see if that's a continuity thing or just like the one off episode type. Another cool thing, the music once again, very 80s, like buddy cop movie. And I was just like, man, I'm like 100% Beverly Hills Cop, like vibes from that music. And I just realized how old I am. Even though, yeah. But no, episode 7 was really good. Continued the trend. I'm really intrigued on this whole dynamic between the warden, Javi, and Izzy, especially with how he treats each one of them differently. So I'm hoping that's something that's explored a lot more. And honestly, we're overdue for an Ollie or a Zato themed episode now. So I'm hoping one of those two get, some more characters, especially Zato, because there's so much that could be done with that character right now. So I'm hoping that happens. But that's it for episode 7, Stego Search of Power Rangers Dino Fury. Let me know in the comments below what you think so far of the show. What do you think of this episode? What's your favorite Zord as of now? Because now everyone has their Zords. Everyone can be happy. But that being said, I thank you guys for watching. I will see you guys in the next one. And yeah, that's it.